Hey, this would be Slather 34. A couple of the Slathers people have asked me. Some have wound up on YouTube and some have wound up on my Patreon, and it just depends how deep I'm going, who might get mad about my Slathers. I've been denied jobs because of Slather. The restaurant industry is funny like that. Anyway, it's 2 in the morning. I'm taking the trash to the dumpster. I got a little bit of sleep. I'm back to working lots of hours. It's been a minute. So, the latest job of upheaval is I put in my 2-week notice yesterday at the Japanese place I was working, which is absolutely crazy. And it's another case where I'm standing on principle and it's making me throw everything into a state of disarray again. So when last we spoke, I was working. My full-time gig was Torchy's Tacos, and my other full-time gig was Waffle House, serving overnights, 10-hour shifts, 4 nights a week. And Olive Garden was my part-time that I would fill in either after I would get out of Torchy's or on the days where I wasn't at Torchy's Tacos. I no longer have 2 out of those 3 jobs, and I have other ones. It's crazy. Why am I like this? I say that as if it's a bad thing. I kind of love it. I thought to myself, if I'm going to gather all this restaurant experience, and honestly, the Waffle House part of the experiment was one of the best ones. I did 2 years there, learned a ton, experienced absolute madness, saw how they ran things. By the way, I'm going to have a rant about this Waffle House giving the servers a raise thing and how they're framing it and why it's all bullshit at a later time. But that's a later time. So I'm not at Waffle House. So what's my overnight job? I realized I never worked fast food. I know. Get ready for it. And this place, this famous fast food place, filed Chapter 11. And they also have the distinction of making both of my kids sick the one and only time they ate there. And I'm going to eventually work at the location that is brand new, because a company bought Burger King in the Orlando area, like something over 70 of them. And they closed a bunch of them, remodeled a bunch of them, and a few they knocked to the ground and built from the ground up. And for some reason that was appealing to me, to work at the place that made my kids sick, because they're going to start anew. And the movie Burnt was an influence, but that's a story for another time. So yeah, I'm at Burger King overnights. I guess you could call it a training. It wasn't much of a training. They just kind of threw me in once an overnight shift became available at a location like 30 minutes away from my house, until they get the restaurant open that's closer to my house, that will be brand new, which will be the third, count them, third brand new restaurant that I've opened. Rustique being one of them, Torchy's being another. And now it will be Burger King. So yeah, I'm putting together Whoppers. Me who worked at fine dining restaurants, and me who worked prep at incredibly intense places. I'm at Burger King overnights. Olive Garden, after I had a bit of a falling out with the old management, who relegated me to being a dishwasher again, and other rather like intensive, laborious tasks that most people quit over having to do for long periods of time. I stuck it out, and then I had a chance to do the real cooking there, which is being the soup and sauce guy, which is very an intense and difficult job. It's probably the most difficult thing I've done, restaurant related, for reasons I'll go into at some other point. But nonetheless, they're like, let's try this dude out. The longtime soup and sauce guy is on this extended vacation. It's likely turning into him never coming back. So they put me on soup and sauce, thinking it was going to be an every other week thing. They were just trying me out because they had heard stories. Some people were saying, Steve is great at this. Other people saying, like, there's probably a reason he wasn't doing it anymore and you have to be careful. But they put me in there. And they put me in there, and then they went, holy shit, this guy can do it. He's really good at it. I should be. Did it for a long time. But something interesting happened for me as my journey as somebody who's learning all about the restaurant business so I can teach my child, so my child can open up the restaurant of her dreams when she gets out of college and culinary school, and that's a whole nother thing. So in the months-long absence since I've done soup and sauce, something happened. I always thought that I got to the point where I was pretty good at it, but never where I turned the corner and was one of the guys that was great at it. I don't know what the fuck happened in those months. Was my mind working on it? Did I gain a great deal of cooking experience doing other things? I've done everything. I've worked all the positions on the line. I've worked under very intense circumstances since then. I worked for a number of restaurants since then. I've developed, I think, a very unique combination of humility and arrogance that it takes to do well in a kitchen. And I'm managing to reinvent myself at age 52. Oh boy, it is 2 a.m, isn't it? I have a little track where I live. See it? So I'm going to walk this for a while because the lighting's much better. So here I am. But anyway, I did the soup and sauce thing, and they were like, nope, you're our every Monday guy. And now that I've put in notice at the Japanese restaurant, see, the Japanese restaurant called Pokeburi, when I got hired there, the deal was, I'm going to give them prime days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday in the restaurant business. Pretty prime days. Because they're not a place that makes money on Sunday, really. Some restaurants, Sunday, they live for it. Brunch. One of the old places where I used to work, Rustique, has a brunch. God damn, it was expensive. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway. But the deal was I was supposed to work open 10:15. Is the normal start time when you open there, all the way to like 9:30. So that would give me full-time hours in 3 days. Great. They hired me. Great. They were so excited that they booked me out for a year on their app. I had that Thursday, Friday, Saturday on lock for a year. But then it's a small place, and the owners have never owned a restaurant. They've never even worked in a restaurant. So they're sort of subject to the whims. There's a bunch of reasons, but nonetheless, they started mucking with my schedule while simultaneously saying how great I was at it, how I brought something to it that nobody else brought, because I'm really good with customers. It's the kind of place that's small enough that they need customers to come back again and again and again and again. It's in a kind of a great location in that it's a kind of affluent. It's the kind of place that would eat poke bowls and sushi rolls, whatever we call them, and ramen, that kind of stuff. And I had a ball learning how to do this stuff, even though at this point it's really kind of easy because it's just like assembly style. In any case, they started mucking with the hours. So now some weeks I'm there for 15 hours, and it's never the same schedule twice. And all the people that they've given these hours to, who are mostly like 16 and 17-year-olds, drop their shifts all the time, so I'm having to pick them. It's just not the life I want. I envisioned, if I'm going to have 2 full-time jobs and a part-time job at all times, I need those part-time jobs to be stable somewhat. And for all the knocks that people might want to give about fast food, boy, if you're willing to bust your ass, and I bust my ass, that is a tough job at Burger King. It really is on the overnight more about prep and cleaning up constantly than it is about even putting together food. But nonetheless, I find that I kind of love it. I feel like I'm getting this accelerated course in paying dues. And I'm learning a lot at Burger King. Burger King. So, with the dropping of the Japanese restaurant, that opens up prime restaurant days. And guess who's interested in having me there more? So I'm going to be at Olive Garden clearly full time. My part of the bargain is if I'm going to learn about this restaurant business, I want to learn about it all. So I'm not so subtly insisting that I get to train as a server there. Now, I've been a server at Waffle House, and if I can serve at Waffle House, I can serve at fucking anywhere. You are aided by zero technology, and you are out there to fend for yourself, and every tip dollar you're fighting for. And it appealed to the performer side of me. The stuff that I used to do at Waffle House is the stuff of legend now. Nonetheless, the thought of being able to serve and to, more importantly, bartend, which is something I've never done before. But in any case, I'm probably going to be doing soup and sauce a lot, which I think is really great and really important. And where it's kind of the fundamental of my learning about the restaurant industry, how to cook, how to deal with high volume, how to deal with pressure. So Olive Garden, full-time job. Burger King, full-time job. What's the part-time going to be? Not 100% sure, but one of my other old jobs, an opportunity has come up, and a chance to work with a good friend of mine that I've made. We were at Torchy's Tacos together. So I'm excited to try to get a job back at Paisanos. I can understand if they were mad at me and didn't want to hire me again or something, because that was the job that was sort of the intermediary between Rustique and when I was at Torchy's. When the opportunity at Torchy's came up, I absolutely jumped at it. I had to. A chance to do prep full-time for an up-and-coming restaurant that was expanding rapidly and seemed like there was a ton of opportunity. And I did make a ton of money there because of their tip share program until the bottom fell out of that place financially. And it didn't take long. And I worked under three general managers in 3 months. That place was chaos on a level you can't even imagine, with a billion corporate types running around constantly and this cutthroat environment. The kids and I went to eat there recently, and what really struck me was it was a Saturday during prime time. There was a time where it would have been a 45 to an hour minute line just to get to place your order. We breezed in, nobody in front of us, ordered, and they still took forever to get us the fucking food. And it was still overpriced. And it's still $6 to $6.50 a taco. And as my culinary child pointed out by opening the taco, this is less than 1 ounce of meat here. That kid. In any case, a couple of opportunities are coming up soon. Maybe I'm going to run my own little kiosk of a restaurant inside of a larger facility. Not going into business for myself, but it's just the way that these people do it. That's opportunities coming up in 3 weeks. I continue to take interviews to try to just fill in. We're talking about at most 3 or 4 mornings and afternoons doing prep or opening up a kitchen, that kind of thing. Some might say like 2 full-time jobs in places that you feel pretty secure is probably enough. But there's more for me to learn. You only get one time at this motherfucker. And if you're going to reinvent yourself, at age 49, 50, which is what happened, reinvent yourself all the way. And I'm fortunate because I have a guiding star in front of me. And that is the thought of Veronica, my 13-year-old, who is very much into cooking. I've given Veronica knives for presents, the Batman knives, they're awesome. And continue to teach her. And we continue to talk about her vision of what she wants her restaurant to be. And she continues to learn. And I'm really excited about the kids being around tomorrow. It's a rare thing where I don't work Friday night. Once I get out of Poke Booty at 4, I'll go get them, and I have the whole evening to spend with them and a small part of the morning. And then hell happens. I'm at Poke Booty for 10 or 11 hours. Then I'm at Burger King for another 8, and I'll get out at 6 in the morning. And then I'll hang with the kids before I go to Olive Garden to do pasta. They're having me do pasta earlier and earlier again because the unlimited pasta bowl is back. And let me tell you, from a guy who does 2 major things there, 3 major things. Doing the pasta, which is like literally hundreds of pounds of pasta that you're making. Soup and sauce, where you're making sauce usually 10 or 20 gallons at a time, soup and sauce. To get to handle that kind of volume is really impressive. But I'm really looking forward to Burger King opening its new spot and being part of my 3rd new kitchen. I'm looking forward to being back at Olive Garden all the time and actually learning new stuff. As well as doing the old stuff and being much better at it than I was before. And seeing what the future holds. There's a couple of really crazy job opportunities coming up that I have to make big decisions about because it's like life upheaval, gone for 6 months at a time doing this thing. I have to figure all of that out. And just getting the financials back together again as the checks roll in from all of these jobs. Of course, I had to borrow to the hilt to even make it through the weird time period where Torchy's fired me and I left Waffle House, which happened within 2 days of each other unexpectedly. So I went from, my 2 full-time jobs that I could count on, but I'll transition out of the Waffle House thing and I'll be okay because I have this money saved up and stock that I can sell and all this other shit. And then Torchy's fires me. Was it just? Completely unjust, and people still can't give me a straight answer on why it happened. But I suspect it's because I am the way I am, and they don't know what they're doing. And they've taken a can't-miss situation and run it completely into the ground. But it was a great learning lesson. And then there's a whole journey to talk about with Rustique and I having this dance of, am I going to work there again? It only made sense for me to work there again. The hours fit. They desperately need a prep person. One guy they fire. The next guy quits after 2 days. They're stuck. But their pride, because I quit them, prevents them from bringing me back. Which keeps me and Pat, my good friend, who trained me, who's doing prep there, basically alone. The thought of working with Pat again is exciting. The thought of working with my friend Iso is exciting. And the fact that I'm working with another one of my friends, Sharon, who just happened to show up at that Burger King in the craziest, I can't believe you're here moment. I don't know, man. This restaurant thing is absolutely bonkers. Where does wrestling fit into all of it? It really doesn't, unfortunately. Commentating that one show, as much as I loved it, and I loved working with my partner Styx, I don't know. A mistake happened, and then the promoter and I felt like there was just a disconnect, and he couldn't care less whether I was there or not. Which, honestly, at this stage in my life, my answer is, okay, well, fuck it then. Because Tipping Point's still going strong. We just made 8 years last month. Crazy. And Georgia wrestling history keeps moving on. And that's a great way to have my hand in the wrestling business. And maybe when I have the free time, I'll get out to a show or two. There's a show that actually I found appealing to kind of go visit if I'm available. In any case, it's been a long time since I've given you an update, so now I've given you one. And boy, what an update it was. Side hustles still remain. Restaurant review is happening of Polka 23, which is a Korean restaurant that's opened up practically across the street from my house. So I will hopefully be going to that tomorrow night with the culinary kid to check it out. I've been doing restaurant reviews, by the way, professionally. Crazy to say something like that. Since 2015, I realized that. So maybe my project 2025 is to celebrate 10 years of doing restaurant reviews, which has indirectly led to me being neck deep in the restaurant industry. It's almost unrecognizable. Now, my only major goal is to get back on the get in shape wagon. I got into really good shape for the usual reasons recently, and so I just need to get back on it. In any case, that was Slather number 24. Wow, I need to get back to doing these again as well. This one is so long, that's what she said, that it's just going to have to go on Facebook or maybe YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. Let's put it on YouTube. Yeah. All right. See you later.